Hello, my name is Matan, and I'd like for a minute to grab your attention, like this. And now that I have your attention, I'd like to talk to you for a few minutes about what I do, which is basically a combination between art and technology on the one hand, and innovation and impact on the other. And I'd like to basically run through a few different projects and then tie it back into blockchain and the reason we're all here. And I basically started as a musician. I was playing music and performing in Israel and over the world. And over time, I became kind of dissatisfied with the life of an artist. I wanted to have more impact, more influence on other people's lives. This led me to start playing around with technology, basically using sensors that measure your brain waves, your heartbeats, your emotion, sensors that measure the body, and translating those sensors, those physical functions, into music. So for example, this led to a show like this performance at Google, where this woman running, her heartbeat is dictating the rhythm. This guy meditating, his brain waves are affecting the melody. And as I'm moving, my movements are basically conducting the music. So this entire performance is playing music without any traditional instruments, using only the physical body, the biological symphony of our body. Doing the same kind of work led me to create interactive installations for museums. In this piece, for example, two people stand in front of a sculpture, and as they move, the sculpture mirrors how in tune they are with each other. Only when two people move in the same way at the same time, exactly alike, does the sculpture really come to life with lights and with sounds. Another example would be the sculpture of a heart. Once you touch the heart, it basically plays back your pulse. Just recently I've been working on this project that connects trees all over the world. So basically making trees into interactive portals of communication between people in different countries. So if you look at this small short video, you can see that as you touch the first tree, it gets charged up. And only when it's fully charged does it activate another tree that could be anywhere in the world. When someone else touches the other tree, they close the circle. So as I share these projects with you, it basically all relies on the idea of rapid innovation, how to create things quickly and not without, usually startups would have a large crew, they would have funding, they would have more of a process to create these things. Over time, I became more focused on rapid innovation, which led me to the question, how do we create more impact using the same methods? How can we use the same ideas of creating things quickly and effectively to actually help other people or influence other people's lives? To answer this question, I started a company back in Israel called Shift. Shift is an innovation lab that's totally focused on impact-driven innovation. And working under this company or with this company, I've done different projects, some of them in the field of blockchain. This is DAOstack. It's a project which basically creates something similar to a WordPress for blockchain, enabling you to create easier decentralized products by basically taking the basic layer of decentralized programming and making it a very accessible kind of UI UX. Working on these kinds of projects, I came into blockchain really believing in its potential to impact the world, to change the world. And over time, it became somewhat disillusioned because when you look at the scene and what's happening in the world of blockchain, the ecosystem, over time, when I just started coming into it at the end of 2013, the beginning of 2014, there was a lot of maybe naivety, people being somewhat naive, but also a lot of hope and belief in the potential of this technology to change the world for the better. And over the years, you could see how many of the people that I've actually worked with, or people that I've met, are gradually becoming more and more about the financial aspect of blockchain, the kind of potential to make a lot of money, which is also, of course, an important effect. But if we as an ecosystem do not take into account the fact that we need to actually prove and we need to actually justify the potential of this technology to change people's lives, we are actually losing in our own game, because over time we have to prove the worth of what we're building for this to become a reality. And so, working with the company trying to create impact, I went back into music technology, the thing that got me started with technology to begin with, and I started developing technology for people with disabilities, basically enabling people who are disabled to play music in new ways. For example, this is Ophel. He suffers from a rare neurological disorder, so he's paralyzed, and he can only move or really control his eyes. So we built a system that translates his eye movements into music, so he can compose music using his eyes. This is Louis. He's a really talented pianist, but he's also autistic and blind. He can control his right hand really well, but his left hand he can only use one finger. So we created pedals that enable him to use his feet instead of his hands to play music, basically enabling him to use the full range of the piano using 2 hands and 2 feet. This is Lilon. He's a professional musician, but he was injured in a snowboarding accident, and he's in a wheelchair. So we basically connected all of his different instruments into the wheelchair, so he could loop himself and be a one-man band using his wheelchair, making it from a disability into some kind of advantage. And last but not least, this is Kinneret. She was born with one hand, and she's a fantastic singer, but she could never play her own instrument. So we designed and 3D printed a prosthetic arm that enables her to play the guitar for herself for the first time in her life. Are you guys still with me? Everybody's following? Yes. So, to end this, I want to present to you the next level of what I've been working on in this field, which is basically the idea of making music accessible, not just to people with disabilities. How do we make music accessible to as many people as possible? Young or old, healthy or disabled, professional musicians or complete hobbyists and beginners. How can we make music into an intuitive, accessible thing? What I have in my hand is called the Earthstrument, and it's basically trying to answer that question. To play drums, all you have to do is this. So if you want to try and play a full song instead of just playing drums, how would that sound like? Let's try it. Thank you for your time. My name is Matan. I want to leave you you with one last thought. As we are all gathered here in this context of having some kind of advantage in this world, some kind of position, whether it be money, power, influence, or just being on the cutting edge of technology, we have a responsibility as a generation for this world right now to take our abilities, to take our privilege, and to share it with the world, so we can help other people, so we can help the rest of us come to a place where we're all having the life we deserve. Thank you all for your time.